Hey guys, welcome back to the Python tutorial for beginners. Today we're going to talk about strings and string functions in Python. We already have seen some things and we've had some experience with strings from our previous videos, but what is a string really? A string really is nothing more than just an array or a list of single characters in a particular order, right? So since Python doesn't really have a character data type built into it, a single character in Python really is just another string with a length of 1. So with that being said, let me go ahead and say if you guys enjoy these videos and you want to see more of them, please feel free to like and subscribe, and that way every time I get a video you'll get a notification and you'll be able to keep up with your programming practice. But anyway, let's go ahead. I've already fired up PyCharm here a little bit, and I've got us a string in there that says s equals program and vol. So what if we have that string and we want to print just the R out of it, right? Well, there's a way in Python that you can do that, and we can do it like this. We can say print and then we can give it the variable name, and then we can use these square brackets and give it 1. And you might say, well, why are you doing 1? It's because in an array or a list, and really anything in computers, when you start counting, you always start counting at 0 because the computer has to use 0 as well, right? You know, all circuits are 0 for off, 1 for on, right? 0 always counts in computers. So the place of this P in this string would be 0. That's called an index. So you can just imagine an index running along the top of this string, counting the number of characters in it, starting with 0. So it'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? So if we want to get the 1, or if we want to get the R, that's an index of 1. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. And it does in fact print the R, right? We can test it again just to be sure. We'll give it a 0 and see what it prints. So remember, the index at 0 should be the P, and it is, right? It printed out the P. So just reiterating what we said for a minute, the index on any string starts with 0 and runs to 1 minus its size, right? Programming vault, including the space, that'll count in the string. Programming vault is 17 characters long, which means its index will run from 0 to 16, right? And I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand that. Also, something you can do is you can return a range of characters. If you just want some of the characters in that string, we can do this, right? So let's run it and then we'll explain what happens, right? We told it to start at 2, 0, 1, 2, which is the O, and go through the first 6. So it prints the O, G, R, A, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So 2 to 6, it prints from 2 all the way to 5, O, G, R, A, right? So that's how that works. Okay, so we've seen how to print one particular character in a string, and we've also seen how to print a range of characters in a string. Another thing you can print is another common function is the upper function. So you can print s dot upper like that, and when you do this, it's going to print your string out in all uppercase characters, right? And this is important if you want to be able to format text. You can also do it with lower. Let's run that just to see how that works. So yeah, it prints it out in all lowercase characters. And you can also do what's called a replace, right? What if I wanted to replace all the G's in Programming Vault with T's? Then I could come through here and I could put s.replace, and then I could do another parentheses, and then inside of here first you give it the character that you want to replace, and then you give it a comma, and then you give it the character you want to replace that character with, right? And so we've got those, and let's run that and see if it works. And it did. It replaced all the G's in Programming Vault with T's, right? So that's good. So that's upper and lower and replace. So another function that we can use is the split function. So it'll take any string and split it into two substrings. So for this one, let's use hello world. And we're going to use that because it's typically got a comma in it, and when you use the split function, you need a separator. So to use this, we're going to say print s.split, and we're going to give it more parentheses, and in the parentheses you're going to put what the separator is. So it should print hello world separated into two substrings that is split around the comma. All right, so let's run that and look at it. And it does, right? It prints hello, and then it prints world right in there. Notice that it split it right at the comma, so it's still got the space in front of world here. All right. So that's pretty interesting. You can also check strings to see if values are in a string or not. So to do this, let's go back to Programming Vault. We'll make our string say Programming Vault. And we're also going to need another variable. We're going to need a variable to hold our result, right? So we're going to say result equals, let's say PRO in S, right? So what that's saying is the result is going to be set equal to whether or not PRO is found in the string S. And then we'll just print the result, see what it tells us. Let me run it. And notice it returns true. That's because this will return a Boolean, this statement here. Basically, this is asking a question. It's saying, is PRO in S? S being the string that we have. If PRO is in S, which it is, it'll return true to result, and it did. What if we can also say, we can also check to see not in, right? We can say the result equals if PRO is not in S. And since PRO is in S, that should return false. So let's give that a shot and see what happens. And it does return false. So both of those ways, you can say, you know, is this in this variable or is this not in this variable? And that'll return a type of Boolean so you can check and see that. That'll be very useful as well as we keep going. Probably the last thing I want to talk about today is concatenation. And we've touched on that a little bit already. But let's go ahead and make two different strings. So we'll make A equal to programming, and we'll make B equal to vault. And now to concatenate these, we're going to keep our result, and we're just going to say the result is equal to A plus B, right? And then we're going to print the result. And our hope is, right, it's going to add these two guys together. I bet it will. Let's give it a shot and see. It does. See what happened? It jams them precisely together, right? So it concatenated those strings together. And that's very useful. I mean, you can do that with 2, 3, 4, 5 different strings that you get from people. You can use this to build URLs. Concatenation is very, very useful in programming. If we wanted that to look right, we would just come to a Programming Vault, come to Vault and put a space before it. And then if we run it again, you always have to keep the formatting in mind when you're working with strings. And so that prints out Program Vault looking normally. Okay guys, so these were some of the most popular string methods in Python. There are many more really, there's a ton of them. So if you want to see all of them, you can just do a search on the Python documentation at python.org. I could give you a link to it, but it's probably better if you go search it because it's a good idea for you to go ahead and get used to using that as a reference, right? So I hope you've enjoyed what we went through today. It's very valuable to know how to manipulate strings and do different things with them. And I certainly have enjoyed making this video for you. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to. And also, if there's any questions you have or anything you want to see, feel free to put it in the comments. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.